I am Pat Halpin, and welcome to this special edition of Meet the Leaders here at our state's Capitol. Today is the opening day of the New York State Legislature, and we've been joined by one of the newest state senators, former county legislator, Monica Martinez.
Hi,
Senator
Pat.
Martinez, it's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So you are an educator.
I am.
By training,
Yes.
and by profession, and by love.
Yes.
You are also served as a county legislator, as chair of the Public Safety Committee most recently, and now you are actually the only Democratic senator in Suffolk County who only represents Suffolk County. In other words, there are a couple of others that spill over.
Yes. No, but my district encompasses all of Suffolk.
So, and you're in a majority.
Yes.
So you understand what government's about. You understand what the role of government is in education and other things. What are your top priorities as the state senator from Suffolk County?
Well, there's so many things, obviously, but most importantly, I need to represent my 3rd senatorial district and making sure that our taxpayers are taken care of. We need to make sure that they're able to live on Long Island, make it affordable. A lot of the issues within my district are focused on sewers, okay, and the need for sewer or the lack of sewage.
Well, now part of your district has sewers. It's in the
Part of it
Southwest,
does,
but
yeah.
there's a big part of it north of the Southwest Sewer District
that does not.
That does not.
And like
what's the impact of not having that infrastructure on the community development?
Well, yeah, so a lot of the districts along the South Shore are having difficulty just cooking and washing dishes or showering at the same exact time. And people don't realize that we are on an island. We are slowly sinking. We need to protect our shoreline, and we need to make people's lives easier. And the fact that we don't have a sewer system down on the South Shore is mind-boggling. We're in 2019, and some of our homes are not equipped to multitask at home.
Well, because I'm old.
You're not old.
I'm old. There were 2 referendums for the Southwest Sewer District. The first one had it going all the way out to Sayville and all those areas that are not part of the district that you're talking about.
Yes.
And that failed. And actually had it going up into Brentwood. It was a much bigger project.
Yes.
So they cut it back. What you're saying, we got to go back to the old plan.
We have to go back to the old planning, to the plan. And I go as far as Mastic Shirley. And Mastic Shirley is also in need of infrastructure and sewer. And many of the homes are going under. When the tide comes in, we're losing a lot of homes to just the erosion itself.
And needless to say, with a high water table, cesspools don't work.
They don't. And now you have
All that.
homes that are smelling things that should not be smelling at this point.
Let's get to another topic. I guess so. Infrastructure is number one.
Yes.
Talk to me about the opioid crisis. Suffolk County, and you know this from your days as the head of the Public Safety Committee, is and continues to be one of the areas hardest hit by the opioid crisis. As a state senator, how are you going to focus on that?
It's very important to me. It's and as you just mentioned, as chair of public safety, it was definitely a priority for me. We need to make sure that we have the resources for the individuals that are suffering from this epidemic, not only just the individuals, but the families, and getting them resources. And we have to find the funding at the state level to help certain institutions that help in recovery. Okay, we need more recovery.
This is not something we can arrest our way out of.
No, this is a multi-pronged issue. It takes an entire community to make sure that we keep saving lives. And yes, we have Narcan, but Narcan is a Band-Aid. Okay, we need to really focus on the cure and helping our individuals rehabilitate and live successful lives, and not have that fear that we're going to lose another. And I think it comes from the family, it comes from law enforcement, it comes from your policymakers. We all have to come together to figure this out.
And this is an epidemic that touches everybody. I'm thinking as you're talking, I probably know 4 or 5, maybe more families and individuals who have been directly affected by this. Some are dead.
Yes.
Others have lost children. And I'm sure you have the same experience, because this is so much broader and so much bigger than anything we've ever seen before.
No, and it's not fair, right? And we're losing young lives. We're losing men and women who have yet to start their lives fully. and we're losing them to drugs. So not only do we have to go after those that are bringing the drugs in, who are distributing the drugs, but we also have to help those that are under the influence of the drugs.
Let's shift gears and talk about education.
Yes.
You, even as a county legislator, although the county oversees the community college and you play a big role in making sure that they were supported and expanding, but now as a state senator, you've got a very direct role in primary and secondary education, especially when it comes to funding.
Yes.
And issues like the Common Core.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's very important that we keep funding our schools, but funding them in a way that it's equitable across the board. I think that some school districts are not getting their fair share, and we need to make sure that they do. And in terms of Common Core, I believe in standards. I believe in state standards. I believe students should take standardized testings, but what I don't believe in is that you cannot blame a teacher and their success for the way a child performed on a state test one day.
Right.
And I think that's something that we need to look at. Our teachers are working so hard every single day. As a former teacher, I know. And we can't just blame a test.
Why don't we go back to a portfolio, which means Patrick comes into that class and you're looking at that person's body of work. Now you still do the standardized test, and you look at this more holistically. Is that just too hard to do on a statewide basis?
I don't think it's hard. I think it should be a component of it, right? Just to kind of track. But I don't think it's difficult. But we also,
because the teachers in effect do that as they're looking at students.
Well, of course, because we're monitoring their progress,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
But I think what we need to do is that we need to let teachers teach, but not teach to a test.
Yeah.
All right, because as teachers, we're not just teaching a subject matter. We become mom at school, we become dad at school, we become counselors at school. We do pretty much more than just teach a child, and people need to remember that.
Yeah, you're right. It's not just about cognition, about learning. It's about social and emotional development.
Yes.
And so you're part social worker, you're obviously the educator as the teacher, but you're also the person that is there as the advocate for your students.
And Pat, people don't realize that kids are in school longer than they are at home. All right, they spend more time with us in schools than they do at home, right? And we need to make sure that there's a transition. And I think the biggest problems that I've seen, as an educator in the district that I represented, and still do, is that we need to bridge that gap between the school and home. I think there needs to be a direct line of communication between both entities.
Somebody once said the key to a great education is what goes on in that school building. A terrific principal is the education leader. Wonderful teachers who are supported and trained and are able to do what they do best, and parents who participate.
Yeah.
And you get that going in a school. You've got a great school.
You got a great school. And you have a great kid who's going to do well.
That's right.
And so it takes not just a teacher, it takes an entire village.
And Monica Martinez, New York State is fortunate to have you in the State Senate. Have a great year, and
Thanks,
I know
Pat.
you're going to be one of New York State's best senators.
I appreciate that.
In the years to come. Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Thank you. You
too.
too.
That's going to do it for this edition of Meet the Leaders. I'm Pat Halpin. We'll see you next time.